Hello and welcome to the next edition of RG in Discussion. My name is Tony Gillen and I am a Senior Manager at Rycroft Glenton. Today's topic of discussion is HR Tech and I'm joined in the studio by HR Tech Specialist Alex Rawacek. Welcome Alex, and thanks for joining us today to talk about HR Tech. It's a fast-growing sector, recently valued in 2021 at about £26 billion. It's going to grow. In a nutshell, what is HR Tech?
Well, HR tech is an interesting, yes, ever evolving like all tech. It's one of the bastions of the digital revolution, alongside medtech, agri-tech, and all the other techs that anything can be automated. It's a term that is an umbrella term that reflects software and associated hardware for anything that automates the HR function. So that's payroll, HR, technology management, technology acquisition, and D&I analytics, etc., etc. And people use this in order to do two or three key things. One is scalability, the other is repeatability of process, and the other is ultimately an immediate impact on revenue.
Right, okay. And who would you say the big players are within HR Tech at the moment?
So the players, I suppose, regionally or geographically, USA, without doubt. That's fueled to a certain extent by Israeli technology, which is ideation and the kind of one startup nation, as well as the UK, without doubt. And the key players are either the big, certainly the big guns such as Oracle and SAP, as well as the young guns that are looking to disrupt and innovate. So it's a combination of the big and the small competing in this area.
And just in terms of that innovation, that those smaller fish at the moment who are looking to disrupt, what kind of exciting ideas are coming out? What are they coming up with at the moment?
Well, a lot of it is, in response, like a lot of tech, in response to the deep societal changes that have been occurring, the most recent trends. So that will be, working from home. It can be D&I. It can be health and well-being and mental health. So those are the kind of key three main trends. But there are also other areas which are evolving in terms of its cost and its application and its accessibility.
Yeah, and do you think COVID and the move to working from home, do you think that has accelerated the growth in HR Tech at all?
It definitely has, and it's accelerated all tech. It's made it, as I say, more accessible, and it's allowed people to be way more efficient. There's always an argument as to whether it's efficient, whether it's highly efficient, but is it productive? And I think that's where the performance value comes into the technology that's being used at the time.
Okay. And how do you think HR Tech could improve somebody's business? And I guess there's a second part of that, is there a cost implication for somebody wanting to take HR Tech further in their business?
Yeah, so the cost element is depending on what one is wanting to achieve out of it. Mm-hmm. Certainly SaaS-based businesses, the whole design of that is that the cost is relatively low. So the barrier for usage is relatively low. It allows small startup businesses to be able to punch above their weight. The cost comes from, particularly from enterprise businesses, comes from when one wants to look to change their legacy system, and so the time and cost implications of that can be quite high. So choosing the right system is incredibly important, and that is one of the great challenges because there's so many that are around. But it's a very competitive marketplace, so cost is on the face value is pretty lean.
Okay, fair enough. And is there a danger with HR Tech that there could be an element of Big Brother is watching in terms of tracking employee data analytics and things like that? Is there a danger of that?
I think certainly that's the case, and security is always very paramount. It's something that again it's a bit of a cat and mouse situation, but security and compliance are incredibly important, and data lakes actually are one of the main reasons why a lot of businesses will be looking to, as has been for some time, particularly within tech, to look to monetize. So to be able to protect yourself is very important. That has implications certainly within the likes of the NHS and other other areas where discretion and confidentiality is key, it's definitely something that I think needs to be constantly looked at, and compliance and regulation is there to keep that as tight as possible. So I think it's always something that everyone should be aware of and ask and inquire and be absolutely 100% happy with.
Sure. And what do you think the challenges are that are facing the sector at the moment?
I think, I mean, again, HR Tech it goes right across the board here. If you were to look at technology generally, one of the main issues is the cost of the developers. I mean, certainly in the UK, if you look at the price, the salaries of developers within the UK, we're probably one of the most expensive in the world, second to New York, as an example. So that has an impact. That also has another reason in terms of why people are looking to outsource and the balance between that and insourcing. So I think the cost is certainly a challenge, but as is security, as we just mentioned, as is compliance, and as is implementation. A lot of businesses have a kind of a tech deficit, and so you're trying to marry those two together. But I think certainly pricing is one of the key challenges for businesses when they're looking to develop their own tech capability.
All right, okay. And what's the appetite like for investment within HR Tech at the moment?
So it's, as you said, it's a I think you mentioned, I would say it's actually globally it's larger. It's probably 70 to 80 billion, depending how you look and grade that. There's been about 136 HR Tech deals that have occurred. I mean, interestingly enough as well, just as a backdrop, as you'll know, there's about 250 million investment VCs just in the Northeast and Yorkshire alone that's gone into technology, and 3 unicorns exist within not far from this particular space that we're sitting at the moment. So there's a lot of activity that's going on, and investment certainly is there. It's just everyone's trying to find those unicorns, and there's interest from startups, seed capital investment, which I've been heavily involved in, as much as early stage businesses, in order to collaborate. So interest is very, very high. The risk profile, of course, is very different here to the States, but I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, okay. And one of the things that you do is identify these startups and help them grow to maximise their future valuation. What tips would you give to somebody who was in that position or had an idea? What would you say to them?
Well, from an ideation perspective, yeah. I mean, I think from a ideation perspective, one of the most important things is to understand your proposition. One of the main things that I've always found whenever I look at this is globally, not just from a UK or from a regional perspective, is everybody comes up with an idea that they think no one else has actually done before, and everyone values it all roughly at the same amount. So it's quite irritating, if you see a big long list of great ideas, but actually they've all been done before. So I think it's a matter of trying to de-risk as much as possible when you're seeking for investment, and being realistic as possible. And looking at the real cost implications that would look to take you where you need to go, and I think those are the 3 main things I would certainly recommend.
Okay. And what would you say is really exciting about the HR Tech sector at the moment? I think,
it's easy to go down the kind of rabbit warren of looking at AI and machine learning and all these areas, but what is truly exciting is, yes, the ideation that's coming through, but also this collaboration of smaller businesses that are working together to provide a kind of seamless service, and they are taking on the big guns. It's innovating and changing the direction of the industry. But this collaboration is, in essence, a closed-loop ecosystem, something I've been very involved in myself which is looking at partnerships, affiliations, and shared revenue systems, which all enable market access and speed to that market access, and that's truly exciting because it's a collaborative approach, and is advancing the area in the sector in new ways.
All right. And if you were to get your crystal ball out, where do you think the sector will be in 5 years' time?
Well, I think everything is looking to get faster and cheaper, and if you can get things faster and cheaper, then this is going to be better for everybody. As I say, it's quite a competitive place. So I would say that I certainly feel that areas such as quantum computing will come in at some point and will certainly have an effect in this space as much as anything else. Everyone thinks this is going to be way down the line. I think that may come probably sooner than most think.
Alex, thank you. That was really interesting. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.